Hey folks, so we're gonna do things a little bit differently today. I'm not at school, I'm at home and don't have a whiteboard, so I guess you'll be getting this lesson with old school pen and paper. Hopefully you'll be able to read everything and see everything, but I'll try and explain myself out anyway. So we're starting our next unit, which is 3.4, surface area of 3D objects. That's really no different than us looking at just 2D objects, so just like a rectangle or a square or a triangle or a circle or anything like that. The only thing you do need to remember is that there are more than just one side. So when we're talking about a 3D object, we're talking about a yard. Well, a yard isn't really 2D, isn't really 3D, it's more 2D because you're only looking at kind of the surrounding area. But a 3D object would be more like, if you're trying to figure out the area of a box in order to wrap a present or something along those lines, that's where we start to need to look at different formulas to use for 3D objects versus just 2D objects. So the first thing you're going to see on your paper that you've been given, it says surface area is the number of square units needed to cover an object, and the first object you see is a rectangular prism. All it is a 3D object in which the 6 sides are made up of 3 pairs of rectangles. And you can see that on yours. You can see that there's actually 3 different rectangles on there. There's 2 versions of each of those 3 rectangles because there's 6 sides to a rectangular prism. But we're going to go through the process of determining how to figure out exactly what that area is for that first one. So you can see there for that 1A, it says determine the surface area of the rectangular prism. You'll see that you have a length of 12 meters. You have a width of 4 meters. And you also have a height of 5 meters. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this formula here that you see. Just surface area for a rectangular prism is 2 times the length by the width plus 2 times the length and the height plus 2 times the width and the height. So if we work this all out, we should get the actual total overall surface area of this rectangular prism. So let's do that. So 2 times, and in bracket, my length, which is 12 meters, multiplied by my width, which is 4 meters, plus 2 by the length, which is 12 again, multiplied by the height, which is 5, plus 2, the width, which is 4 meters, multiplied by the height, which is 5 meters. Okay, then on my next line, I have 2 times what's 12 times 4, it's 48 meters, plus 2 times what's 12 times 5, that would be 60 meters, plus 2 times 4 times 5, which is 20. Okay, then I do my next line, 2 times 48 is 96 meters. Sorry, these should all be squared here because it's meter times meter, it's my fault. Plus 2 times 60 meters squared is 120 meters squared, plus 2 times 40, 2 times 20, which is 40 meters squared. Then if I add all those up, 120 plus 40 is 160, 40 should be 256 meters squared. Okay? So that same process you're going to follow for all of the problems that you see. So rectangular prism actually isn't too bad. I don't think it's overly confusing. The biggest thing is making sure you know your formula and you have it written down and you cover everything. So it's always the length times the width, the length times the height, and the width times the height. Just make sure you don't end up using the same numbers twice or you won't get the correct answer. Okay? So you should get a total of 256 meters squared. All right, so the next video we're going to look at is the formula for a cylinder.